Let's just take a look at this question. It says that the manager of a hotel in Pretoria recorded the number of guests sitting down for breakfast, lunch, supper, and on a particular day. Of 300 guests that are there, 29 did not arrive for any of these three meals. 153, as you can see there, and 161, that one, So this kinds of Venn diagram is the one that has three events, it does not have two, it has three events, So the first one says that we must represent this kind of information in a Venn diagram, So first we have to draw our Venn diagram. So inside this Venn diagram, we have to draw three circles, in order for us to accommodate our three events that are there. So here's our three circles, guys. It's a little bit, but I'm good at this. So this one is going to be for, I will name it for breakfast, actually. And then this one, it will be for supper. And this one, it will be for lunch, So we have to fill out our information there. So past on our two, the one that has two events, it was very, very easy for us to fill absolutely everything. We have to start with the one that has both, So from here, we have to start with the one that has all these kinds of three events that are there, I hope this one is clear, guys. The circle is a little bit small, but I tried my best. So we have to start with the one that accommodated both breakfast, lunch, and supper. Do you understand that? So we have to look for that kind of number here. So here there is 70 that were at all three of these kinds of meals. So we're just going to write 70 here. I hope it's clear. So our next step, guys, you have to be very careful. Our next step, we have to go with the one that has both, that has both supper or something like that. That has both. You have to go for it, So the one that has both is which one? Is this one. It is for both, and also this one is for both. So we have to follow that one. So this one says that 95 were at breakfast and lunch. So 95 were for breakfast and lunch. It was 95 of them. So are we going to write 95 here? No, we're not going to write 95 because we're going to overcount if we write 95. Because there is already 70 on this kind of circles of breakfast and lunch. So we have to say 95 minus 7, that is here. So we're going to get how much? We're going to get hopefully 25, So we're going to get 25 for this inside circle. So going to this one, which was 8 were at lunch and supper, So 8 were at lunch and supper. So so there's 8. Are we going to write 8 here? No. If we write 8, we're going to overcount because there is already 7 in these kinds of circles of lunch and supper. So I'm just going to say 80 minus 7, which will give us 10. So we're going to write 10 here. So is there another both here? There is no another both. So our next step in order for us to tackle this kind of stuff, is that we have to go for the one that has only a certain, like the one they said there is someone who's being able to be there for only breakfast or only, they will have to go for the only so they can be able to understand this kind of stuff. So for the one that is only, which one was this? Okay, they say 52 were at the supper but did not arrive on other both of those kinds of meals. So there is 52 of those kinds of people or that kind of hotel, those kind of guests. There's 52 who were at supper but did not arrive for the other two, which means they were only there for supper only, So they were only there for supper only. So I'm going to write supper here only. This one is for only. They don't participate on both of those kind of stuff. So now we are done with the one. So now we have to go to calculate the total of those kinds of people who were at supper, the breakfast, and the lunch. So we have to start with this one because this one, it has a lot of the information here. So for the supper only, for all those kinds of people who were there for supper, all of them, how many? It was 145, So just going to say 145, and then we subtract it with 70 minus 52 minus 30. So we want to just fill this black circle, all of it. We want to know how many of them. In total, it is 145. So to find the total number of here, you just have to subtract all these numbers that are here. So if we subtract all these, we're going to get 13. So here we're going to fill 13. So when we add this 13, 70, 10, and 52, we have to get 145 people that were at supper, all of them. So this black circle is for supper, So going for the breakfast, for breakfast it was 153 who were at breakfast. So who arrived for breakfast. So 153. So how are we going to write 153 here? No, we're going to say 153 minus 25 minus 70 minus 13. So just going to say 153 minus 70 minus 13 minus 25. We subtract everything that is in the, is it pink? Yeah, on the pink circle. I hope I'm not good at colors, guys. Okay, so so we're going to subtract. So if you subtract all these kinds of people by 153, you're going to get 45, So if you add these kinds of people that are on the pink circle, you're going to get 153, which is correct. So going for the lunch, how many that were there for the lunch? It was 161. I'm just going to say the same thing, just going to say 161, and we'll subtract all these kinds of people that are here. And if you go on your calculator and subtract all those kinds of people, you're going to get 56 that are left there, And then there is those kinds of people who did not arrive there out of those kinds of 300 people. How many of them? There were 29. So where do we put them? Outside the circle, but inside the rectangle. So here's the 29. So this is how to draw a Venn diagram when you have 3 of events, So this kind of stuff is not challenging. The challenging part is how to answer the questions when you have the Venn diagram like this, So the first question, it says that calculate the probability that a guest chosen at randomly will have been at both breakfast, lunch, but not supper, So to answer this kind of question, you have to use the Venn diagram, So they want the probability of someone who have been on both breakfast, lunch, but not at supper, So you will be at breakfast and lunch, but not at supper, So it means we'll find him on the red circle and also on the pink circle, but not at the black circle. Does that make sense? And lunch, it is this 25. They say that it's not at supper. If they say also supper, we will add this 7. So this one is only 25 who are at both breakfast and lunch, but not supper, which means we don't include this one here, So for A, the probability of breakfast and lunch, but not supper. So the probability of this one are going to get is 25 out of 300, guys. I know it can be a little bit confusing. You cannot grasp this kind of stuff at first, but as you do as many examples as you do, you really are going to understand this kind of stuff, So just be patient with yourself. It's not easy to grasp this kind of stuff at the first glance. You can rewatch this video, and I will also do another example on my next videos, including this kind of stuff. So going to letter B, it says that someone will have been at both breakfast and lunch, breakfast and lunch. So for this one, they didn't tell us not. It means someone who's been on breakfast and lunch. So when we talk about both, let me just answer this one here, B. So they're talking about the probability of breakfast and lunch, So they didn't condition us for another thing, So for breakfast and lunch, we have to find those total people that are on this red circle and pink circle. So this one is 25 plus 70, Now we are counting this 7 twice because they want the both lunch and supper, which is this one, So this one, they specifically told us that, but they don't want the one that is doing supper. The answer we write 25 here. Does that make sense? Perfect. So from here it's going to be 70 plus 25, which is give us 95. So our answer is going to be 95 divided by 300. So 95 divided by 10 is going to give you 19 over 60. So this is your probability. So divide with the total is this one of the guys that are there. So going for the letter C, which is being at breakfast only. So when they talk about only, it means he's only at breakfast. So the probability, this one is for C, the probability of B only is going to be what? Is going to be clear. It is 45 for breakfast only. So just going to say 45 divided by 300. Does that make sense? Perfect. So 45 divided by 300 is going to give us 3 out of 20, So going to letter D, they want to know the probability of someone who have not been in neither of them, or neither of three of these kinds of breakfast, lunch, or supper, So the one that does not participate in neither of this, where do we find him? We find him outside the circle, but inside the rectangle, So this is 29. So I'm just going to say the probability of neither one of these, neither one. I will just write neither one. By now, I hope you understand this kind of notations. So it is 29, which is 29 out of 300, So 21 out of 300, yeah, this one is going to give you this one as a probability. Going to letter E, which is this one, they want to know the probability of at least someone who has been at least two of these meals. This one is a little bit tricky, but it wants you to understand. When we're dealing with 2 circles, there was this kind of a question that comes. It says that it wants the probability of someone who at least did one of these kinds of 2 events that are there. So when we talk about, let's say they talk about at least one of the events A or B. So this one, it means like they want the one that are either A or B or both, when they talk about at least one. So still the same thing. So when they say at least 2, what they mean is that someone who's at least on both of these kinds of stuff, or at all 3 of these kinds of stuff. Does that make sense? On the one, it was only A or B or both, So for this one, since there's 3 circles, it's either both of this kind of stuff or 3 of them, So to find that kind of probability, so this one is the probability of at least 2, So to find that kind of probability, we have to add the one that has both this one, which is 13, plus 10, and also plus 25, It's either be on the at least 2 of these kinds of stuff, or at 3 of them, So which is, we also have to add 70, and we divide with the total, which is 300, Yeah. So then this one, if you add this one at the top, is going to give you 180 divided by 300, which will give you 59 out of 150. So this kinds of answering these kinds of questions of Venn diagrams, 3 events, is a little bit tricky. Just need you to be patient with yourself. No one can be able to grasp this kind of stuff at the first glance, So if this is your first time encountering this, be patient with yourself. Try to rewatch this video, and I'll also do a video again of different examples, but we're still going to look at the 3 of this kind of stuff on my next video. So see you on my next video. Sharp.